All right, we're live.
Oh, that box is going to drive me crazy. I got to get that out of there. Yeah, we're live.
How about our microphones?
You're live.
I'm live.
I'm here. It's my
Let's see
exhaust
Brad
box.
Howard. Good morning, Brad. It's been a while since we had our last podcast.
Yeah.
It was like a month. Oh, it was over a month ago.
Well,
I'd have to look it up.
That was the LZs, though.
Yeah, that was January.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, anyway, you're going to see some technical chaos here, which I think is more interesting. You're going to see, it reminds us, about a year and a half ago or so, where we were moving into this building, and it seems like we're always moving somewhere. And so we have this for another couple of months.
Right.
So we just finished the LZ project. We got one more day, but we have to do the outdoor kitchen, Lena's outdoor kitchen, and then we have to do Fred's garage out in California, and then we can really focus in on OGHQ. That's the plan.
Yes, we're currently in the yarn building. The other building that many people have come to visit. That building is now, we're done with that building.
Yeah, so 322, which was the original warehouse, the original everything, is now turned over, and he actually sold it. So
Nice.
I wonder if it was your guy. Maybe he'll give us some credit for that, too.
Well, I had another guy come after that who was looking at it just a week or two ago. So
Yeah.
hopefully somebody got it.
Yeah,
You know?
I was kind of hoping it sat there for a long time and I can come and buy it, but I figured it's just like our building up 42, the curated building. There aren't a lot of these buildings around here, and so when one goes up for sale, it should sell pretty quickly.
All right, let's see here. Here's a good question from Mikey that I don't know the answer to. Maybe you do. Do you know if the new RZ HLR5 is coming out this month? What are your initial thoughts on it? Do you think it will replace the Milwaukee?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't. I used the prototype at SEMA that wasn't fully developed, so it had some balance issues that they were still working on some tuning. So I think that it has promise of some friends become the new standard again. But I don't know when they're due. I think they, sourcing all those electronic components and batteries and stuff probably isn't super simple. So I'm not sure when the release is. I know they intended to have it released a while ago, but I don't even have one to play with yet. So I'm not sure, what the time frame is.
Yeah, Mikey, I haven't heard either. It was supposed to be January, then February, and now it's March. So
Yeah.
we'll let you know as soon as we do, as soon as we know for sure. Any updates on the new building? Yep, David J. That's our buddy in Alabama. We're moving in curated today, tomorrow, and Sunday, actually. So that's all taking place. And we're slowly filling it up over there.
Yeah, so just to bring you all up to speed, if you don't know the situation, I had three buildings. I had the one next door, which is the original building. That's 322 Oak Street. I started in 2,000 square feet there. So I started in one side, and Chris, the owner of the building, was in the other side. And then we eventually got that side, moved in, and then I moved my, this area, this, video studio into my garage, into that other new side. And then eventually that took over, the thing. And then I got this building. So that was a yarn retail store. And so they did yarn, sewing training and stuff like that. So it had a big sign on it that said yarn. And so I leased this building. It was November of 2019 or something like that.
No,
It's been 3 years.
Yeah, it's June of 21, because it'll be 3 years. June 24 is when we're supposed to be out.
True.
So, yeah,
That's
21.
true. That seems, yeah. So that was, so I've had this building for 3 years. The other one's 6.
Correct.
So we're in 322 for 3 years. Got this building, and so it's been 6 total years. I think it was 2019 is when I bought the 5,000 square foot, 6,000 square foot warehouse that's about 5 miles from here. And so that's where we've been doing all our building, bottling, hoses, stuff like that. And so that building I owned. And so the plan was, when we had the opportunity to buy it, 455, which is the new 25,000 square foot building, that's down the street. So the plan was get out of the warehouse, because that lease was up. I was paying sort of week to week, if you will. And so we moved the warehouse first. Then we moved all the yarn guys, all the guys that are in this building, except for this spot. And then In between, I had listed the building up, the curated building, the one on 42. So I listed that. So that sold. So now that takes priority over this. So we're moving that building this week, and that's where we have bulk storage and stuff. So that's going to take up a big chunk of the warehouse or the just empty square footage of the new building. And then we'll be out of here by May 31st. So we'll just get rid of the 3 buildings, which were about 11,000 square feet, down to or up to 25,600 square feet, which is the new building. So getting everybody is in the new building, except for this, basically.
All right, let's see. We have a super chat here. $5 US. This guy, Cleveland, says, "Hey, Uncle Matty, what's the ultimate bathroom music solution? In-wall speakers, just a Pulse M? P.S. Thanks for the barbell recommendation back in September."
I think, I think it depends on what you're doing. So one thing that hasn't worked well, I put, my ceilings are like 11 feet in my house. And so I put some Flex, they're like little baby Blue Sound Flex speakers up on the ceiling in the shower. And then I have a Pulse 2i, which is the Blue Sound little high-res Bluetooth or high-res Blue OS speaker. So I put that on top of like the our house linen little closet thingy I have in there. The problem with the Flexes in the shower, they're like too high up, and so I have to freaking crank the thing to get the proper vocals. And so I think in a perfect world, if you have a new construction, I like in ceilings in the bathroom. Problem is, my house is already existing. I could put in ceilings in, but I have to run wires all over the place. It's annoying. And so that's when just doing a combination of the Blue Sound stuff. So what I should have done in the darn shower was probably put a Pulse and just pointed it, I don't know, put it lower. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to use it. Tommy says it works as advertised. I'd like to spend some time with it, so I'll get to it here shortly. I think it's probably going to be pretty cool.
Steven wants to know, do we have any updates on press-all tips or ProSlat cabinets?
ProSlat, I just heard from Megan the other day. We'll be putting them in Waba's garage. I'm not sure what the time frame is on that, but in coming weeks, we'll be doing some ProSlat stuff. The tips, hopefully, are shipping soon.
Let's see. Alex wants to know, do you guys ship to Europe, specifically Serbia?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's crazy expensive, and then you have to pay, generally a value-added tax, VAT of some sort. But yeah, we can do it for sure. And if you choose the DHL option, you'll have it, quicker than UPS will get to California.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, you'll have it in 2 or 3 days.
Dionysa says hello from Greece. Nice. Let me get to this.
To Greece too.
Yeah, I think we just shipped there this week actually. A super chat here, $20. No, excuse me. That's 20 pounds sterling from Tom C. His first ever super chat. This one's for Chris. And you owe me 20 pounds sterling. Thanks for the tour of OGHQ last month. Tom, Joe, and Poppy from the UK. Thanks. I'm glad you guys. They stopped by right as we were project.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to sit down inside the Hex, and I'd say there's probably 6 or 8 things, like important things that I figured out or learned. So not product related, not YouTube related, but more just, life and business related. I think the biggest thing was learning how to articulate being selfless. Because us doing that project is pretty, maybe some guys wouldn't believe it, but we're doing, like, taking care of our friends, and then my guys are taking care of me. And so, Mike F. and Mike W. and anybody else who came to sort of support were taking care of me. So in the beginning, I talked about this in the Washington Talk and the Rivian. In the beginning, I was like, well, I'm sweeping floors, so I can say whatever I want. But, like, especially when you have new people that don't know me, they don't know how to take that. They don't know, they don't connect that, hey, I'm selflessly taking care of my friend's house the way I would if it were my own. And yeah, there may be some sort of long-term business result from it, but the main thing is it's that are convinced that I'm taking advantage of Adam. In what universe is there any advantage taken from me? If anything, it's the opposite. In what universe does having the CEO of a pretty decent-sized company sweeping floors, cleaning toilets, wiping down walls, and living 2 hours away from his family, in what universe is that taking advantage of my young friend Adam? That's nonsense. And then, they're like, well, you're just buying stuff for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I'm going to buy it, leave it for him in his house, and what am I going to store it there and come get it later? I mean, I don't understand. That makes no sense. But I need to understand that perception, and there's a way to articulate and tell the story better, so that even the most naive young man can get it, but still do me. And I think there's ways to do that. And so that's what, I'm learning how to navigate. And you see, in the beginning, if I can figure out how to, lead horses to water, if you will, especially new people. I can turn less people off, but stay me.
Ricky wants to know, hey Matt, have you considered carrying Armor Detail Supply Adapt? It would be a great ready-to-use waterless option for touch-ups.
No, I haven't.
Have you used that before?
No, I haven't used all of this stuff.
Big Head James, our buddy, says, afternoon, Matt and Chris. All the LZ content has been a great watch. Excited to see the content from the new building.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a nice transition. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that. I have a lot of car stuff that a lot of things I'd like to get done. So a lot of different car things to share with you. I'm really enjoying doing the Dream Big series, just kind of going through the configurator. It's so simple, but yet it's fun for me to do that. By the way, I found out that darn Vantage, somebody sent me the build. It was like $290,000. I was like, if that car was $90K, I'd be interested, but not $290. That's insane. It has a base price of $190, and then all those add-ons were like $100,000 in upgrades. I'm like, that's insane. Now I know I don't put the price on the website. But yeah, I think you guys are really going to enjoy. We have a move-in vlog that I'm going to narrate here shortly, so that should be up the next week. 2 weeks, and then hopefully pre-orders maybe a couple of weeks after that, and then 6 weeks to delivery. So I'm hoping like in the next, as long as it takes it to get across the ocean, 6 or 8 weeks.
I got a financial question here for you.
Okay.
From Yo Kenny R. And he followed this up by saying, it's a little confusing, but what I mean is, what's the best way to take withdrawals and use this money? His house is paid off.
Okay.
All right, I'm 53, my wife is 59.
Mm-hmm.
Retire in 2 years.
Yep.
To Florida, oh nice. Wife, $1,200 a month, Social Security at 62, I'm due $1,800. Mm-hmm. Got $500,000 in IRAs, previous 401ks, $100,000 in a brokerage account, $400,000 in cash, $20,000 in HSA, $20,000 Roth.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the best way to take withdrawals and use that money? His house is already paid off.
I think you need to work another 15 years because you need like 3 times that. Generally speaking, when you're taking withdrawals out of retirement accounts, you can use a loose formula. You can go download some software or something, but I use a loose formula of 4%. So you're going to back off your risk taking to say ebb and flow somewhere between 40-60 and 70-30. Right? So you'll in certain instances you may ramp up to say 65-70% stock if you have somebody actively managing the portfolio. But I would probably want somewhere on average you're going to be 60-40. Take a 4% withdrawal. So he has about $1 million, right? So $1 million, that's $40,000 a year you can take out. The problem is, retiring so early. The Monte Carlo simulation. The further out you get, the greater the distribution can be, right? So between negative and positive. And so 4% might be a little aggressive, depending on what happens. I mean, you're also kind of set up, the sequence of how you get returns matters. So there's a big difference between retiring in 2007 and retiring in 2011, right? So if you retire in 2007, you watch half your portfolio disappear. And then if you're taking withdrawals are very parasitic in periods of volatility. Because if you take the money out while it's down or negative from whatever its peak value was, then that becomes it becomes almost impossible to recover. But if you take them, if you're adding money, during that period, so volatility is your friend when you're adding money. So that's why 401ks tend to work really well for people, because you have consistent dollar cost averaging over time. You're just putting money in periodic or regularly scheduled. And so you're buying into down markets and you're buying into up markets. Your average price share, is sort of averaged out, but that volatility can pay off. And so you want to just swing for home runs there, assuming that the home runs, assuming that you when you're invested aggressively there, that you don't bail out and try to time it and do some stupid stuff. So you got $1 million. You've got, that's another disadvantage. You take Social Security at 62, you're going to get considerably less. What is it? 25% less than your full retirement age value, and that break even, I think, is somewhere. You can do the math, but your break-even point is somewhere probably around early 70s, like 71 or so. And so, meaning that you would have gotten a much better benefit if you live past 71 if you take your Social Security number later. If you die early, then obviously you would have been better off taking the money out sooner. And so you have, how much did you say, $33,000 a month in Social Security.
Yep.
You're going to be able to take out, say, $3,000 a month from your portfolio. So that's $6,000 a month. Can you live on that? That's $72,000 a year. And then here's one of the problems that happens oftentimes with retirees is that where you don't have substantial assets to backstop. This also assumes that your entire $1 million is 100% invested all the time, and you're going to generate a 6, 7, 8% return, because you need to keep pace with inflation. You also have to assume that $72,000 or so you're going to live off of, you got to pay your tax. You got to pay your tax out of that. So what happens a lot of times with retirees is, okay, I'm going to take a 4% withdrawal rate. Sorry, I'm probably talking too fast for people here. You take a 4% withdrawal rate, you're left with loop. So then you take out another $3,600 to pay the tax on the 18 grand, and I got to pay tax on the $3,600, and it just becomes an endless loop of withdrawals in order to keep paying. So, but generally speaking, there's a best way to do this, where you're taking some money out of IRA, you're taking some money out of your brokerage assets, but because you're retiring early, you can't take withdrawals without a 10% penalty until you're 59 and a half. So you'll have to wait till 59 to take any withdrawals out of your IRA, but then you would take it proportionally. So if I'm going to take $40,000 a year out, I've got half my money in IRAs or retirement assets, half the money in brokerage. Theoretically, it may make sense. You'd have to run the calculation, but it may make sense just to take half and half out of your IRA and half out of the other. But remember that $40,000 a year at 4% withdrawal rate has a decent probability of you running out of money, because you're talking about a 40-year cycle here. We're talking about having the money last. So I would feel more comfortable at a 2 or 2.5%, 3% withdrawal rate to essentially guarantee. Because the other problem you're going to have is that your psyche is going to change, from accumulation to distribution. And when that happens, you start making stupid decisions. You stop listening to your advisors. You stop wanting to pay, somebody 1 30, 35, something like that. It's in certain instances in a 60-40 portfolio. So if I were you, I'd work another 10 years. Find some side gig. Don't take any withdrawals. We're probably due for a substantial bear market. We haven't had a bear market since 2009, right? So we've had, we're coming up on, we're 15 years into a bull market. So at some point you're going to give some of that back. And again, what happens if that's this year? You retire and then you vaporize 30% of your portfolio and you start taking 40 grand out. Now you're living on 4% withdrawals on a $600,000 portfolio. So now your 4% withdrawals, $24,000 a year. But again, we need it to last 35, 40 years is what we want to run the simulation for. So I would want more money. Just depending on your lifestyle. I know your house is paid off, so you don't have a lot of bills. Social Security is going to help supplement. Do not buy annuities. Don't do anything stupid like that have massive fees. If you could come down here, find something, make the 40K. Shoot, if you can make 100K, and then put 40K a year in for the next 10 years, now you're going to retire with 2.5, 3 million. Now you're talking about, if you take a 3% withdrawal off of 2 million, now you have 60K to take out. Plus, then you may be able to postpone taking Social Security till 66 or 67, and you'll get a 25% increase in what you're taking. I just think having $1 million is not enough, because you're going to take more than the 40K out on average, and you're going to snowball yourself in your late 70s to zero. You're going to run out of money, and you have long-term care to worry about. You won't have enough money to fund that, so you have to spend the rest of your money to then go on Medicaid to be able to go into a sort of a state-assisted living facility. You need to get yourself a financial advisor if you don't have one. Not Edward Jones, not Wealthfront or something. You need to find like a legit CFP and go sit down with them. And maybe you're really super frugal and you can pull it off, and you're only going to take 20 grand a year out and live off of 30, 40 grand. It's just hard to do that with current inflated prices of things.
All right. Nicholas wants to know, do you have a spreadsheet you could share with all the kitchen utensils, pots, pans, bath towel sheets, etc. you're putting in LZ's house?
I should do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that you have one, but it sounds like something you would have done.
Yeah, I think I should give that project to somebody, and it'd be a good exercise, a good learning experience. Brooke would probably be a good person to do that, since she likes all the home stuff. And we could sort of start to build out a Maddie's housewares list and put that up. Maybe we could link it to Amazon. I could make all kinds of affiliate money. We'll see. That's a good idea. I like that.
Thanks, Nicholas. Jose wants to know, good afternoon, guys. Hope all is well. Question. With the price of the Active 2.3 being about $650, am I better off just getting the AR? I already have 20 amp service.
Yeah, if you have dedicated 20 amp, then I would think so for sure. I haven't played with the Active yet. I think that Tommy's tested results, so it's going to get something similar to 2.3 or so gallons per minute. That's what the AR gets. I'd choose the AR, but then I'd be like, well, if I'm going to go up there, then why don't I just get a Krenzl? But that is $1,200 or so. I think I'd probably choose the Italian made, because the AR is a frickin' brick, man. It's pretty bulletproof, triplex pump. But I'll reserve that judgment for sure until I use the thing. But my snap judgment would be yes. I think you're on the right track there. I would probably choose the AR if I'm in that money, that price area.
All right, Jeffrey McNall Jr. says, I'll be going to visit Scott at Dry Slab in March. Will there be OG tours available?
Sure.
Yeah,
you can come here anytime. I don't know how it's going to look like OG yet, but yeah, definitely. You can definitely come down.
Andrew says, hey guys, all the way here from South Africa. Love the channel. Just wanted to know, how come you guys never did all the cabinets done without handles, which would look more modern, look cleaner?
Money. And those push to open type, cabinets, that system is more expensive. And then we wouldn't have done the gloss finish because you don't want to touch the face of the gloss finish. It's just, that's more Euro style, European type design, and it costs more money to do that. The cabinets are the biggest concession. That was the thing that we cut cost on the most.
Well,
so this wasn't like a Matt do the best of everything. This was we pick and choose. I was able to do the best of some things because I'm buying it at deep discounts or buying it at wholesale or getting things semi-sponsored. But I mean, every single thing we did in there, I don't think we got anything for free other than labor. We got a lot of labor for free. Eastside hooked us up. Chris from Service Plumbing, Mike F. and me. And so Laurel, largely we all were sort of donating our time and labor. to do the project, and so that that saved hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Joshua wants to know, any chance of getting the Griot's interior scent in a larger size? It's fantastic, but I rifle through the small bottle with several vehicles. I was looking to see if they had a different size.
Yeah, they're pretty stuck on you. We just get what we get with them.
You see the new name, by the way?
Yeah. I haven't tested it out yet.
Stinky Be Gone. JDM Squash.
That's a terrible name. Obviously, no one consulted me for that.
Oh, man. Monkey Gas is one of the scents. I don't know what that means.
That's the kind of name you'd come up for, like, because you're selling to Walmart.
Gotcha. Good day from Australia, mate. How's Adam's house going? Have you finished the darn thing yet?
Yep. Yeah, we finished. So today the cladding around the windows and door is getting done. I just talked to Nadia from Illuminate. They actually, I didn't realize this, but we had spec'd out 60-inch like handles for the exterior of the door. So that's going to be really sweet. Because you just kind of, it has like a normal slider, a little pocket you put your finger in. I didn't even know we did that. So she talked to me about that today. We'll get that done. The icon wall is getting done. That's that little separator wall is getting done Saturday and Sunday. And then we're going back Tuesday to move them in. So me and my mom and Waba and Andrea, we're going to shoot a video for Colette's channel of helping them organize and fold and color code and go through all their clothes and set that all up. Mike F is doing a cook and talk that night, and then Mike and Trevor will be there just kind of buttoning up the last little things we needed to do just to complete it. The final move-in cleaners are coming Friday for them, and then they'll probably move in before the cleaners even come. It's pretty clean, and so we're handed the keys over. So we've moved back. The coaches are gone, and we're staying here. We're just driving down Tuesday and driving home.
Julian says, do you know when the next video will be online from the LZ series?
I think probably, I don't know, we'd have to ask Wal, but maybe you can put it in the comments. Probably Saturday.
All right, let's see here. Jack says, I was washing my car the other day and sprayed a bunch of water through the front grill. Mm-hmm. My car had trouble starting and smelled like something was burning. Any idea what that might have been?
Well, I mean, that would be water getting into your intake, I would think. So depending on the car and if it's a cold air intake running down low, I mean, maybe it shot some up in there. Or, it could have been just squeaky water on the belt. Took a second for it to burn off.
Let's see, no one says, I think you'll appreciate it.
On the GT3, I'm just a executor. I finish things. So when I start something, I finish it instead of bouncing around just to bounce around. What you're getting on Obsessed Garage, this is a look into my life and what we're interested in. And so, the house stuff will come and go as whenever I'm doing something with the house. So we're done with that, and so we'll be done with that for a while. OGHQ, I think the thing that people are really going to like is we're building the garage, and then we've got quite a bunch of garage stuff, Garage Series to do. But you have to remember, cars are 20% of my obsession. The garage is 30%. The house is 20%. The detailing is 20%. The electronics. And so, I'm pretty dense in 4 or 5 things that I'm interested in. But I like to be able to share all that stuff.
Let's see here. Dune Wild has a Gion question for you. I said he's absolutely love their products lines when vetting so many brands. Is it something you'll pursue again at all?
I mean, every time I go down the Gion road, there's always a CarPro product that's similar and generally better. Or I like it better anyway. I like Gion. I like the people. I like Jeff, who represents Gion. I like the Gion people. I like the branding. I just always end up coming back to the CarPro product that I was already using. But I mean, I've many times had products that I consider bringing in, and we just, and Coach Kemi came and kind of supplanted some of the products I thought were better. Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Gion at all. I think it'd be a great line for you to choose if you're going to say, look, I'm just sticking with one line. The thing that bothers me about Geon is they have too many coatings. I think that's disingenuous. I don't like that. Why do you need freaking 12 coatings? It's just so they can come out with a new one every year? I mean, what is the methodology there? Why not just make one good one? Tell me which one is the best coating you have. Even I think CarPro has too many. That's my big thing with G-Technic is they've got 2 coatings. One professional, one regular, and just put all of your effort into that.
Mick or Mike 0408, you're rubbing off on him. He says, you've got me saying the gosh darn thing now. The gosh darn thing.
I have to use filler words for,
It's better than the alternative.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Matt says, do you have any new recommendations for Bluetooth speakers? What happened to the Dyne Audio music line?
So frustrating. So the Dyne Audio music ruined it for me because those things that sounded amazing. And so I didn't go down the Blue OS path, and I was just going to deal with the fact that the Dyne Audio is on a separate network or separate system, separate operating system. And then what keeps happening is, like at my house, I have a bunch of Blue OS speakers because I have all the NAD equipment throughout, the custom install NAD equipment outside for the patio area or the pool area. I've got the NAD in my garage, NAD in my home theater, and so I've just put a couple of Blue OS speakers, and I feel like they've gotten a little better. The Pulse M is a big step up in improvement in size and form factor and sound. And then, generally if I'm going to critically listen to something, I'm not going to listen to it on my little Bluetooth speaker. And then I can have high-res, non-Bluetooth connectivity and put it anywhere in the house. And so we're going to bring in the full Blue OS line. It's, I believe, to be the best, operating system, the best system that is available for, streaming, even if you're just doing a single little speaker or you're doing some sort of bigger system.
Finney has a question or suggestion for us. Afternoon, gentlemen. Have you thought about updating the Amazon storefront? Some items are out of date. I think, was that the link in our description? For
Yeah,
stuff
I think so. Yeah, Bryce had made that years ago. I don't know, do we even get any Amazon affiliate income anymore? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we should go through that, update cameras, and that's where we can put utensils and stuff in there. A lot of the stuff that we're using in the house, though, isn't available there.
Jeff Johnson, our buddy up in the Pacific Northwest, says, do you guys actually age? OG Youth Serum must be legit. Keep up the great work. The content is amazing.
I feel like I'm losing hair, but other than that, I feel better, feel fitter. I'm totally remotivated. I did really well on the project, so I started out like continuing my ascent upward in fitness for maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then the project just starts to wear on you, and the ability to get up in the morning and go throw some weight around by yourself. I just don't like it, and I'm not able to follow the normal programming of the gym because I'm missing a lot of the different equipment. I only had a small grouping of equipment, and then the good news is I didn't fall off diet-wise. I gained probably 8 pounds, from my low, and so I'm 222, where I was hovering when I went there. I was 217, 218, 219, something like that. So I'm 6 to 8 pounds from peak to trough. And so then this morning I got up at 4:15, went to the gym,
nice.
But really suffered. It's just it's going to take a couple of weeks to rebuild the capacity, and then I feel like I'm ready to start adding in and go reach my ultimate goal, which would be to flirt with 200 pounds. But I feel like I lost a lot of my mojo at the end there. Last week I didn't work out once. The week before, so I worked out once 3 weeks ago, once 2 weeks ago, none 1 week ago. I just can't convince myself to do it. Which is, I went from going, I started doing 7 days a week, sometimes multiple times, and it tailed off to 5 times a week, then 3 times a week, then 5 times a week, then 3 times, then 2, then 1, then none. But I made it through it. It was 3 months, and I made it through it, and didn't gain 20 pounds or fall completely apart.
That kind of leads here to Mike's question. How's the carnivore diet going? Are you still enjoying it?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I came off of the carnivore diet, but I was getting a little too loose with it. So I'm strict starting today. Strict on cutting out dairy for at least a few weeks. So I'm going to cut out dairy, with the exception of I got one of those Ninja, which is like completely against everything I stand for. Ninja is like, that's as seen on TV, bull crap.
Yep.
But they make, from what I can tell, the best ice cream, instant ice cream maker. And so the protein recipe that I'm doing, so making protein ice cream, you'll like this.
Ooh, that does sound good. Yeah.
So it's probably not the best quality, but get the little, little 12 ounce Fairlife, but the 42 gram version, the one that doesn't taste as good. Get that vanilla or chocolate.
Okay.
Dump it into the little, Ninja
Creamy
thingy. Yep.
Okay.
And so you dump it in there. Take and get a tablespoon of sugar-free, which probably isn't the healthiest, but sugar-free Jell-O pudding mix. Whisk it in there. Throw it in the freezer. Then when it freezes 24 hours, get it out, and then put maybe a tablespoon or two of milk, like whole milk, in there just to kind of wet it, and then do it light ice cream mode, and it's crazy. I bought the XL, right?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
11 to 1 XL. I'm like, well, that's more money. It's got to be better. That thing sounds like it's ending the earth, though. It's like, I thought it would be like this smooth little system. No, it's spinning at like 4,000 RPMs, just hammering down on a block of ice. And so you do that it's 4 minutes, and then you respin, and then respin once. Then I add about 3.5 tablespoons of whole milk, and respin again, and it whips it up like soft serve ice cream. Now it doesn't taste like it's kind of like if you drink like a flavored drink, like a flavored what do I call it? What is seltzer water? What is the freaking bubbly water? Yeah.
Bubbly or.
When the first couple of sips are like the most delicious thing ever, and then it just kind of wears off. So it's like that, but it's kind of helping crave a bit. So heavy, I'll add some heavy protein, because what I've been doing as I've gotten longer in the tooth on the carnivore, what I end up doing is I end up drinking like, a quarter gallon of milk at night, and then I got to get up and take a leak like 9 times because I'm drinking half a gallon of liquid right before I go to sleep. And so instead I'm going to supplement this with protein. I'm going to try it also with using like my regular protein. The protein I've been using is called Legion. It's a supposedly grass-fed whey protein. So Legion protein is my replacement for Progenics. I buy the 5-pound bag, and I just have it set up where it comes regularly. I did meet with Gary Brecka too. That was good.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna. The problem with 10X Health is their follow-up isn't so great. So I met with them a week ago, and I still don't have my prescription, like what we're gonna do, and so it takes them a long time to kind of get things set up. But we're gonna ratchet back completely and start fresh on my supplementation plan, and start with just 2 things. So I think it's neuromedulla complex, which I've never heard of, and I'm going to take their 10X Health. He says, look, you don't have to take my thing, but I just know what's in there, and so let's do that. So I'm going to take 10X Optimize, which has folate, it has B12, because he's concerned that I may be overly methylated, like I may be taking too much vitamin B12, too much folate, and so we're going to ratchet that back and then get me to the point to where I'm stabilized enough where I can take and actually do a blood test, and get confident enough to take a blood test, and then we'll be able to really dial it in. So that's the plan. Plan is lose 20 pounds, 20 more pounds. So that'd be a 50-pound loss.
That's a lot. What if you could take a blood test while you're eating ice cream? Would that help?
Maybe.
You're just distracted.
Then ice cream would be, that would get me not eating ice cream ever
exactly.
again.
And
It would
cut out the
scare me
ice
away
cream,
from it.
too.
Yeah.
In a typical room, CJ wants to know, do you prefer 6-inch or 4-inch downlights?
I'm a sucker for 6-inch. I just think they look better, even though it kind of goes counter to what most people would think. I just think the 4-inch looks a little too dainty, but 4-inch is kind of the standard now. But I prefer 6-inch. I think the Cree CR6T, which is just a retrofit, I think that's the best looking light.
Scott Willis wants to know, are you feeling any benefits from the hydrogen water pitcher?
I don't know. I've done so many different things all at once, but all water I do, again, I'm ordering Mountain Valley spring water, and I fill up the hydrogen pitcher with it, and then that's what I'll take my protein shake and stuff with, and then I tend to drink probably too much sparkling water. That's the word I was looking for. During the day, because I have Mountain Valley in the bottle, like the little fancy bottles. It's delicious.
Is that sparkling water? Mountain Valley? No.
They do both.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Mountain Valley that I have the 5 gallons, that's not sparkling. It's the little bottles that are.
Got another quick retirement question for you.
Okay.
From Ron. He's in the military, or was in the military.
Yep.
What if I'm retired at 59 and a half and I take distributions at that point with military disability and retirement? Should I wait or pull it?
No, I mean you want to postpone withdrawals forever if possible, because you could stretch an IRA over your kids' lifetimes. If you're thinking about passing it on. No, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Giving kids money oftentimes messes them up more than it helps them. But theoretically speaking, if you don't need the money, then you don't take the money. This is what I've always argued against. The math just doesn't line up for me. They're always talking about Roth IRA. It's like a buzzword. You got to do a Roth IRA, Roth contributions, because then it's not taxable. I said, but most people, you're not maxing out. Right? It's $23,000 this year. It's not maxing out a 401k. And so if I have the option, let's say let's say I put $7,500 a year into my 401k. It's still a substantial amount of money. If you do that, it'll add up, it'll compound long term. So if I have Roth option or regular option, and again, let's say I don't have an infinite amount of ability to save, and so I could put 10 grand into the regular or 7,500 into the Roth. So one pre-tax, one after tax. And if I take $10,000 a year for the next 30 years and I compound that, and I take $7,500 a year over the next 30 years and I get the same return and I compound that, I'm going to have substantially more money, tax deferred, I haven't paid tax on, because I've put $2,500 a year more in, and especially if I did it early. So yes, I'm going to have to pay tax on that money, but I'm going to have twice as much money. Maybe not twice as much, but I'm going to have substantially more money in my IRA. And so there might be periods in time where, let's say that later in life you end up owning a business or something, you have some write-offs, or we're doing this, what is it called, that feasibility study, not that, the cost segregation study. I'm going to end up with probably negative income. And so, I may be able to do some do a Roth conversion, or do an IRA withdrawal, tax-free. Or let's say you're 73 years old and you find yourself having to go into a nursing facility. Well, 80% of that, or 90% of that off, sometimes 100% of those are classified as a medical expense. So after the first 10% of your adjusted gross income, you can deduct all of that money. So you may be able to take withdrawals from your IRA, fund your Medicare, fund your medical costs, and not have to pay tax on that money ever. I mean, there may be ways, or you pass it on to the next generation. They take required minimum distributions throughout their lifetime as a beneficiary IRA, and they could stretch that IRA for another generation. Chances are your kids are going to blow it, but yeah, you don't take withdrawals just because you can. It's like when people oftentimes they say, "Well, I'm maxing out my 401k." Well, what they mean is that they're putting the same amount that their employer is putting in. Well, that's not maxing out. Your employer's putting 3% in. You could put 50% in, if you could figure out how to make that work. And so there's oftentimes, I think, miscalculations in mathematics here that, when I probably have a couple $100,000 in Roth that when early on in my life, I made this mistake of doing Roth contributions. Now, most of the Roth contributions, I think, have come from doing a backdoor Roth. But doing a Roth contribution when I didn't make as much money, because that seemed conventionally smart, but I wasn't maxing out. So I would have been better off putting more money into my tax-deferred account and then deal with it later. Always defer tax, always. That's my advice. Always defer, figure it out later. Unless you have some circumstance where, hey, now's an opportune time to do it. I just took a $100,000 business loss, commercial property loss or something. I could take $100,000 and convert it I need to create $100,000 in income. I find that that's very rare because I'll just use that $100,000 loss next year against my ordinary income and just keep my money tax deferred.
Our buddy Chris at Service Plumbing has an idea too. He says, buyers start a recession-proof business instead of going back to work for 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, chances are, it sounds like, if he's getting that much Social Security, it seems like, them as a couple, they probably made, $60,000, $70,000 a piece. And maybe she stayed at home and maybe he made 110 or something like that and did a good job saving, amassed $1 million, wants to retire early. He's probably maybe had a hard job. I get it. You want to hang it up. But I think that you can only golf so much. You're going to be bored. And what do you do when you're bored? You frickin' need money. You spend money, right? And you want to go travel. You want to go out. You want to go golfing. You want to go, racing. You want to go do things. But you don't have the money to do it. And so you're going to end up sitting there slowly dying. So instead, yes, let's get out of that hard job. Now that you don't need the money, now you probably end up finding yourself making more money than you ever did before because you're doing something you like doing. Or maybe just take a year or two off and then figure out what your next move is. I just couldn't imagine. Now I'm not 52, I'm 44. Maybe that changes in 8 years, but I couldn't imagine 8 years from now saying, you know what, I'm just gonna hang it up, live off of what I got, knowing that I've got a chance of going broke when I have lots to give still. I think I'd figure out something. Come work for us. We'll pay you that $40,000 and get you to do something that's worth more than that to me.
Let's see, Andrew, our buddy here from South Africa, says, I always wanted to know if I could buy merch to enter into drawings, for example, the garage upgrade. Would I be able to, seeing I'm from South Africa?
No. Yeah, you don't qualify.
No,
you have to be a U.S. citizen. Because every country has different lottery rules. I mean, I suspect South Africa can probably do whatever you want. But, what am I going to do? Get on a plane, ship all the stuff there. It'll cost me, $1 million to build a garage there. Not really practical. So no, we can't have international entrance. You can enter, but we can't have you win.
Yeah, we do have Canada actually as well. It's U.S. and most of Canada. Parker says, let's say Matt was in his early 20s living in the Northeast, which is kind of what it was. What would you be looking at? Many people have STIs or S Series Audis, but curious to hear his opinion.
Yeah, I mean, S3, or figure out a way where I can have two cars, maybe two cars that aren't quite as expensive, have my special car for the, because, in the Northeast, it doesn't snow every minute, and it's not like it's snow covered all winter. So there are periods of time where you have decent weather where you can take your car out. But if you're starting out and you can only have one car, I mean, an S3 would really interest me. An STI, I'd probably choose that over an Evo. Look for those cars. The tricky part is if you're young and you're looking at those cars, they're real problematic. They're really expensive to manage, to modify, and you can end up getting yourself in real trouble. So I always had a Honda and just figured out how to drive in the snow. Put some winter tires on my front-wheel drive car and get around. But yeah, I think a GTI, would be cool. But I'd always had whatever car. I had a Civic Si when I was in the Northeast, and lived in Philadelphia and lived in Hazelwood, Pennsylvania, and Philly. The weather wasn't quite as bad, but it snowed there, and just dealt with it. I had a winter set of wheels and put those on, and when it was really bad, I just wouldn't go anywhere.
CJ says, I have a bathroom with a shower in my garage. Any remodel design ideas, or should I just treat it like any other bathroom in the house?
Yeah, don't do garage guy douche. Just make it a nice bathroom. Don't be doing bell housing sinks and gear shifter, knobs and weird black toilets and stuff that dudes do. Don't do any of that. You have to resist that urge. Find yourself some pictures of like nice bathroom with some normal tile and nice fixtures, and just make it a nice bathroom that fits the style of the rest of your house. Don't put any freaking neon signs like pee pee here or whatever, and don't maybe put a urinal in. That could be kind of a wild and crazy move, but just resist the urge to be a dude. Don't be tacky. It's hard to do. It's hard for all of us. We all have it in us in some form or fashion. So I would urge you to figure out the style and make it look clean.
Carbon fiber toilets were suggested.
No, God, no. Don't wrap anything ever in any place in your life. No, wrapping is never a solution. Don't wrap your toilet. You don't wrap your refrigerator. You don't wrap your frickin' washer and dryer. That's what all these dorks are telling me to do. We should just wrap the Speed Queen. What, so it can look terrible? No, don't wrap anything, ever. Nothing I own is wrapped, and if I'm gonna change the color, I'm gonna paint it. Stop this nonsense with this wrapping business. This junk.
We have a super chat from Johan ZAR50. I found out that's the South African rand.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's $2.62 US. Hey Matt, when is the US going to use the metric system, which is much better?
Yeah, probably. It seems like never now at this point.
Luis says we use freedom units here.
I like that.
Yeah, metric definitely has its advantages sometimes, for sure.
A half plus 2 babies. I use the babies system.
Whatever works, I suppose. Yeah. Jay Eichhorn says, Matt, since Harbor Hills, we could see your passion for the home. The LZ project showed you have a true gift for it, and I look forward to seeing this evolution of OG. Just please don't forget about the cars.
I like it, man. I think that it's something that I feel like every house I've done, I'm on my own. There's like nobody there to help me figure this stuff out. There's, everything is either design heavy, like you watch like the McGee and Co. You watch that on like Netflix, or you watch, you watch just stuff on YouTube, or on Instagram. I see lots of stuff. There's lots of amazing design, but then there's the automation people, So there's lots of amazing automation, but very few people put it together. It's like automation gets bolted on to just rich people's houses. But automation sucks. I don't want it. It's too far. It's too much. And so making it simple, I want to be able to do it. I can hire somebody to do it. I don't want to. I don't want to have to deal with them. I don't want to have them coming out to my house every other week because my freaking lights won't turn on in my pantry because the stupid automation code blew up. Or the stupid remote controls batteries are dead. And I got to have them come out and charge me $2,000 to do a new remote control. It's such a bad experience. Crestron, Control 4, I mean, all this stuff is terrible. It's just, I get it, I understand it. I don't need my HVAC system to communicate with my light bulbs above my headboard in my bedroom. I don't need to be able to, ask the system to order me groceries. I don't want that. It's too much, it's too far. I don't want to change the color of the lights in my house. I want it to be simple, basic. I want to be able to go into the app, adjust it myself. If a light switch needs to be replaced or something, I want to be able to go do it myself. Or call the electrician and say, hey, just do this. Not have some specialist. Now, that may be different if I was living in affluent suburban Chicago and I had my choice of 5 different integrators to work with. That might change. But where most people live, it's just too far, too much. where was I going with that? I don't even know what the question was. But the house stuff is, to me, my long-term vision, I've said this a bunch, was buy 100, 150 acres, build a house. Obviously, the garage is the most important part of the whole thing. Share with you the idea behind the garage, how I'm going to enter next to the garage, build my office next to the garage. But also, if you're interested in the garage, why wouldn't you also be interested in the kitchen that's next to it? And so I don't know too many car guys that have a bunch of nice cars that don't want a nice house too. And so to me, there's such an opportunity there to have that discussion. I'm already doing it anyway, so why would I keep it to myself when I have this platform that I can share it with people?
Turbo Yoda wants to know, are we going to see an end to the WEA Series soon?
Yep. Actually, I was just sorting through Koken sockets. That's what those boxes are on my Sonic tool array behind us. The timeline is longer just because of how busy we've been on these big projects. But yep, WEA will have a specific line of products. Koken has that, all these different Knipex, all this stuff.
Gary wants to know, is there any update on the DI water system?
Joe's actually coming down next week to start testing. Yeah, I actually think he's bringing our final prototype.
Scott says, I loved your day in the life of how I manage my digital life video on Inside the Hex. Thanks, Scott. Maverick says, hey Matt, new home build will have offset garage door, 24 by 24. Centering OG 4 bulb light fixtures leaves the left side of garage somewhat dark. Suggest added 3 more OG fixtures for a total of 9 or cans?
Yeah, I mean, cans to me are more of an accent, so I would probably do 3 more fixtures. The only disadvantage to those fixtures is they're not dimmable. So the advantage of doing some canned supplemental light would be that you can dim it and adjust. Because if you have 9 of those flamethrowers in there, at times it's going to be a little too bright. So the advantage of doing the cans would be that you could control them a little bit better. But I would probably just go with the flamethrow mode and put the 3 more 4 bulbs in there.
Tom C says, did Matt mention a possible Destination OG property in Lady Lake? Any more details?
Yeah, I'll share with you Inside the Hex. Actually, I'm leaving here in 20 minutes to go pick out the house. Just what I need in another freaking house, like I need a hole in the head. So Michelle, I think I've told people about this a little bit, but Michelle took a position at the school here. So the school system here is the Villages charter school system. The Villages is the largest retirement community in the country, in the world. There's probably approaching 200,000 retiree residents here. That's why I'm here, because of the Merrill Lynch office that I ran, and of course the Raymond James office that I was a part of when I left there. So in order to support this area, they're really smart. I mean, they own the darn commercial property. They own the bank. Remember, I bought the bank building from them. They own the bank. They have a law firm. They have the real estate agency. They obviously manufacture all the homes. So it's a big, giant, multi-billion-dollar business. And so in order to attract talent and people to come service this area, they built a school system. And so the original school system they built 20 years ago, it's really amazing. One of the best schools I've ever seen. Well, for whatever reason, they decided we wanted to get bigger, and so they went and built another one. It's twice as big and twice as good. Well, that's 38 minutes. It's like 17 miles from our current house. And so part of that school, that campus, they built another town square with restaurants and shopping. They built some like man-made lakes and canals and stuff. There's all kinds of golf cart paths and basketball courts and tennis courts and pools and all this stuff in this big planned community. And so they most of the homes, all the homes around here are retiree only. Well, because the school's there, they built a few communities for young families, for families if you want to live there. And so what's happening is all the people, all the attorneys and the doctors and all the people that live up here are buying a second home in this town called Middleton. And now Michelle took a job as so she's the director and the head high school volleyball coach. She actually got a grant and pitched the village's family to help her build this program. And because Michelle's won like 7 or 8 state championships, something like that, as a coach, and so she started coaching again and started building this lower school. She started doing the lower school little club program, and then it turned into lower and upper school club, and then turned into, then she's the high school coach, then the sort of the director of the entire volleyball program. Now they're starting a beach program, so she's responsible for all this. So she has like a legit job, or she gets like a legit paycheck. And they're down there all the time, and I'm up here all the time. And so she decided with her newfound cash flow to buy a house. So she's been saving money for the last couple of years in a bank account that we set up separately, so I wouldn't see it and buy watches or mountain bikes with it, and or car parts. And so she's ready to, so she made the down payment, and so we're picking out a house in Middleton. And what I'm considering doing, which I don't know that I can really do, I can't do it like publicly, but maybe having like a soft like offering up to maybe help me pay for it. I'd like to set it up with all the cool stuff that we do, the appliances, the garage, the home theater, the lighting, all that stuff, because they don't do any of that, and this house is not really an option. And so I'm thinking about making it a sort of pseudo destination, part of the destination portfolio, having just 12 weeks where I'm not renting it out. It's more letting you borrow it, truly borrow it, so that I can, not get in trouble with the HOA, because I know you guys would be much more responsible than other people would be, and it would be more of like a borrowed contract of some sort where you come there and you're just kind of using the house and helping me pay for it, kind of thing. And then having maybe just do 12 weeks, 1 week a month for the year, and it'll be a lot less money, I think, than Helen would be. You can come down here, spend the week, come visit. Maybe we'll set up a dinner or something like that. Have you come up and visit my other house? I'll make you some smash burgers or something. So I'm thinking about maybe offering that as another destination type thing. Middleton's probably 40 minutes from Disney, 45 minutes from Universal, because it's right off of 75 and the Turnpike. So it's pretty decently located. It's about 45 minutes from the airport, about 50 minutes from the Tampa airport. And so it's kind of a unique golf cart type experience where, and it'll be on like the little lake and stuff like that, a little man-made lake. So that's what we're doing. I'll share more inside the Hex when I figure it all out. But we're going to go pick the model. I think we picked the model. We just wanted to confirm. And so, I had Michelle. It was a good learning experience for her. I mean, I've done everything. And so I had her reach out to Chris and Joe and Eric, the accountant, and say, hey, you've got to fill out the mortgage application. You've got to apply for this. You've got to wire the money. She's never done any of that stuff. And so it was a good exercise for, in case something happens to me, she had to go log into all of our accounts so that way she could show, where her money is, So she had to go get all the passwords and then spend the time talking with Chris and Joe and Eric and Kevin, my financial advisor, and just kind of figuring all that stuff out. So I made her go through that effort too. So I think it'll be a long-term investment. It'll pay off, and that it's not that she doesn't know what we have. She just doesn't care, and I'm just a machine. So I just handle all that stuff, and now I have Joe and his team, handling all that, the money side of things. And then I didn't realize that we had depreciated a bunch of stuff last year, and so I go to submit my application. It shows my adjusted gross income is $48.
And you qualified.
Not 48,000. Not 480,000. $48. Not 4,800. $48. Not $480. $48 was my. So I had to go. Luckily, the bank holds our line of credit. They have both the mortgage on my house here. They have the mortgage on the building. So that's what I was worried about. I'm like, well, shoot, levering myself to the frickin' eyeballs here. It's like this is putting me over my comfort level. But you know, it's something. It's not a big deal for her to just make the payment on it. So we'll put the down payment down, and that she saved up, and then she'll just pay it out of her, you know, her salary. So that's what we're doing. And then I may, because I'm going to make it really cool, and so I may offer it up, you know, once a month for somebody to come and have the sort of the whole local OG experience. I think that could be pretty neat, and turn what would be an expense into a, you know, maybe not a profit center, but a break-even thing. And then when the kids, you know, graduate, you know, when Kate graduates, what, you know, nine years from now or so, then we'd probably just sell it.
Got another super chat here in South African Rand, another 50 of them. What is Matt's opinions on the kitchen cladding that they used? I don't think the community liked it.
Well, the community is a bunch of 20-year-old men, you know, boys, you know, children. That tile was necessary for that style of kitchen. You know, something with pop was required. And you know, it looks terrible when you first put the tile up and before all the stuff is in. You know, it'll make sense when, you know, I don't think a single person walked in there. Because you see young men watching. You don't notice, you know, young women aren't commenting. It's young men commenting who don't know anything about design and don't know anything about anything. Would I choose that tile? Certainly not. I'm not putting it in my house. My house would have brick and would have white oak. It wouldn't have shiny black cabinets. But that is their young, cool, their style is they like industrial. And so in order to offset all the black, you needed something with pop. And they're darn race car drivers, so Laurel, you know, swung for the fences. And so you got this kind of interesting tile that runs up the wall and kind of ties it all together. I think it looks freaking great. I know it looks great. When they're standing in that room, it doesn't like, I get where people are coming from. I'm not trying to be disagreeable here. I know why they think they don't like it, but I'm telling you, if you walked into that room, even though that house is like the total opposites, the whole house is a total opposite style of what I would choose, it makes sense. It all makes sense. It all fits together. And it looks really, the whole place just looks interesting. Had we not done something wild like that, then the cabinets would have been too overpowering, too sterile. That's what people were arguing about. This place is too, but you'll see when all the furniture's in the next videos over the next few days, the place is incredible. And so I spent 3 days living in the house, actually living in there. And it is, I'd tell you if, I think we missed the mark, but it is fully Maddie approved. Like it's comfortable yet edgy. It just feels fresh and clean and new. That design is not timeless. You know, 10 years from now, it'll probably start to feel dated and need some adjustments. But you know, they don't know where they're going to be 10 minutes from now. And so they chose to build the house, build it the style that they like at the moment. And there's some timeless stuff in there, like the ceiling and the beams, and you could adjust some paint and tile and stuff in the future. The paint is timeless. The artwork and some of the stuff we put in there, the furniture is pretty timeless that we put in there. And then did some wild things like, you know, wire gloss, you know, cabinets. And I think it turned out insanely well. And they are like over the moon, like excited about it. So it really was an amazing result. It's tough because Mike and I, you know, we see all the flaws, like because we've been living in it, you know, for 30 or 90 straight days, and you know, it's not perfect, but to them it is, you know. To them it's perfection. So that was the whole point, was to deliver for you know what they wanted, and that was a big concern, you know, because I'm so strong-willed, and but I gave them what they wanted, you know, and I connected them with experts, you know, connected them with cabinet experts, paint experts, tile experts, Laurel, the expert who drove, you know, all the decisions of how things look based on what they wanted. And so it's pretty wild. The before and afters are insane.
Made by ZB says, the press all tips. My bottles are almost a shot and want to buy a whole new replacement set.
Yeah, again, we're
waiting on them.
Yeah, those Germans. I mean, people are still. They don't. Someday I'll write a book on how we've worked on this stuff, but it's the Germans move really slowly. But I'm working on it.
Detailing Garage says, "Hey Matt, I'm looking for a couple new ratchets. I heard you like Koken. Is that the way to go?"
100%. Unbelievable. So good. Yep, I got a whole drawer filled with them. I'll be bringing them to the store here shortly.
Just joined Inside the Hex yesterday.
Nice.
Says PJ Fan 173. Getting ready to start buying for the 40x60 build.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm going with 16-foot wall with vaulted ceilings. Any light suggestions?
I think you want Cree LS if you can swing it.
That's what we got here.
The lights we have in here. That 40x60, you're probably looking at $6,000 worth of fixtures, and then another, say $2,500 worth of control. So you're gonna, you're $8,000 to light that place properly, $8-9 grand. If you don't have that much to swing, then you would do the OG fixtures, and it would cost, roughly a third of that.
You've inspired Brad. He says he's going to put a urinal in his home office.
What?
A urinal in his home office.
Yeah, I mean,
we haven't met the new building. We're excited about them. There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
No, 2. Sorry, 2 of them. David J. Warriga wants to know, hey Matt, when's the last time you had a zebra cake? It's been a while.
Probably, what's the month for? August, July. Yeah, never again. I will never have another zebra cake.
Ooh.
Just like I've never had alcohol, I've never had coffee, I will never have another one. I will probably never have another salad either. So I'm going to join you in that.
I'm with you on that one. I can agree on that. Let's see. Back to the bathroom in the garage here. Okay. Would you recommend a utility sink or standard vanity and sink?
I think I would do, I would want to do a hybrid, more of like a kitchen sink in there, like an undermount stainless sink, so much bigger than but I wouldn't want to do just like, if we have money to spend here, you would do something, some sort of kitchen stainless sink with a garbage disposal. I would want to have that in there if possible. That way you could go in, make sure you have, cabinets that can get wet, and do it, a nice countertop. I wouldn't do stainless steel countertop. So I stay away from the, so make it, talk to your wife about it, or, again, make it like an old bathroom that a woman would accept as well. But then add things like a deeper kitchen sink, so that way you could do stuff in there. If you needed to wash your paint cans out or something like that.
Jeff C. wants to know, when is the Wash and Talk with the Rag Company guys going to be up on the channel?
Probably next week. Yeah, Bob's got to catch up here.
Our channel, their channel, both?
Our channel.
And did Anthony win any arguments with you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What time you got to go to your house here?
3:30, Michelle.
Okay.
We'll hear her pull in.
Let's see. Rick wants to know, with the market being so saturated with products for detailing, garage or home design, is it harder to filter through the junk and curate the best?
Not really. I've been doing this a long time, and so my gut leads me usually past a lot of the junk. It requires for me a natural curiosity, and I just love doing it. And I love the learning process, despite what people think. Like when people were talking to me, I never really considered. Maybe I considered it, but I never thought about it deeply. I'm buying these really expensive knives, and then I'm putting them in a wood block, and it's messing up the edge. And so then, with kids, I really can't take these expensive knives and flip them right side up and put them, sort of upset with the knife edge up. So I got to figure out some sort of solution, but I hadn't really thought of it. But I can appreciate a really nice knife. I bought a bunch of them. I don't. You can't be an expert in everything. I would argue that I'm an expert in detailing and detailing products. I'm not an expert in knives. I'm not the average consumer. and oftentimes can talk shop with people that are experts in that field. And so, like, home theater stuff, I would say that I was an expert, and so I'm no longer an expert, but I was. And so, now I still have those chops. It wouldn't take much for me to become an expert again, and I know enough, certainly more than 99.9% of the population. There's certainly some guys that are just focused on that are experts, that, but I could sit in a room and talk shop with a group of dudes who are experts in that field and not look like an idiot. And so when you're purchasing products and things, I find it fun, interesting. I find it exciting to chase things. And so markets flooded with junk, like, giraffe tools, vacuum systems, and pressure washers, it's like clear as day to me. I don't even need to buy it, I just know. And then sometimes I will buy it just to remind people that you're freaking smoking crack on some of this junk.
All right, let's see. Stent placer, Chris and Matt. I need new foam cannon.
Okay.
I got a 1322 wall system.
Yep.
Do I order mismatch and 1.25 question mark?
Yeah, you 1.25 millimeter orifice, and I just get the griots, and then I think he maybe has an MTM already, and so you get the griots, and you'll have an MTM and a griots, and then eventually you'll get another griots, and you'll have two matching ones. So I'd rather, and I had that for a while where I had one of each. So yeah, I think get the griots and mismatch, and you need 1.25 for the 1322.
Matt D wants to know, is Waba shooting/editing solo?
Yes. Now, I hired his wife, Andrea, who is doing all of the social media stuff. So she'll be doing all the YouTube shorts. You've seen a bunch of YouTube shorts, reels, Instagram reels, photos, product placement in videos, tagging, stuff like that. So she's going to be working very closely with product development, working very closely with garage design, and being that media liaison between the departments to really drive sales.
Let's see here. Matt, this is from our buddy Spencer up in South Dakota. What's your opinion on diesel BMWs? I currently have a 328D that gets about 46 miles per gallon on the interstate, but looking to get an X5 with diesel again.
Yeah, you diesel guys are a different breed. I've never been a diesel guy. I get it. Unless I'm getting like a truck, I'm not one a diesel. You got to go to a different gas pump. You guys are a little odd,
You complain when there's someone else at the pump that has diesel.
Yeah, it's like, but I'm not one of you. I'm not that weird.
You're gasoline.
But I get you. I understand you. I just don't want to be. I don't want to be like you.
Steven wants to know. Well, first of all, Matt has never had alcohol? Question mark.
No.
No. Or coffee. Nor coffee, right?
Nope.
But tea. Yeah, tea.
Yeah. I don't like that either.
And then he wants to know, how does Matt feel about Dave Ramsey and his beliefs?
I like Dave. I think his advice makes sense. He's creating simple steps to improve that are easy to follow, and yes, you could nuance him to death on that's not complex enough or it's too simple, but he's talking to the masses, and I like Dave's authenticity. You can bet your bottom dollar that if you went and hung out with Dave Ramsey for the weekend, what you see on camera is what you're going to get. I guarantee it. I take that to the bank. And so I appreciate that. And but things with him like cars and stuff, obviously a nuanced opinion or a nuanced argument can be, well, I've made a lot of money off of cars, even though cars are a depreciating asset. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying don't go buy a car you can't afford and make crazy payments. And if you're into cars, then maybe you'll make some sacrifices in life to get the car that you want. And I've certainly made irrational decisions on cars, and maybe not set me up for the most success in the future. But sometimes it can be a real motivator. And so he misses some of that stuff just because most people can't handle the nuanced part. But yeah, I think Dave Ramsey's great.
Jack says if we get 10,000 likes, we'll get Matt caffeinated in the morning and drunk at night.
No. I don't understand you guys in your caffeine business. Why is caffeine, we've gone over this before.
This is the most recent.
Why is it acceptable? It's just that you just accept your plight. I don't understand it. Maybe you can explain it to me. Why do you just accept that? Just stop doing it. And then you feel the same. I understand caffeine, like if I started taking it right now, I'd get a boost.
Right.
But then you just baseline. It'd be like, okay, I'm going to take heroin. It's amazing in the beginning. And then I just kind of baseline, I need heroin to operate. Otherwise I can't function. Like, why is that not okay, but caffeine is? It's the same thing. It's something that stimulates you, and you require it. Now, obviously not as aggressive. It's not going to ruin your life. But why do you want to have these ups and downs? Just find that happy medium. I don't need caffeine to wake up. And if you don't take caffeine, then you won't need it. So what's your rationale? You're nodding your head, but you're not giving me any input here.
I don't know. I enjoy it. But I've never sat down and thought, okay, I'm going to go without for X number of days. And
yeah, but now you can't not go without. You need it. Otherwise, you're going to have a splitting headache. You're going to want to vomit. It's going to be a horrible time for a week or two. So now your body is requiring this drug. It can't be good. I don't care what anybody. I don't understand why all these health people, they just accept that. No, that's good. That's okay. You can do that. It's freaking killing you silently. Now, I'm exaggerating here, but what's the purpose? I understand the purpose today. Okay, I'm tired. I'm going to ramp up. It's going to help me out today. All right, next week I'm tired. It's going to help me out. I didn't get much sleep. I was working on this big project. Let me caffeinate and why not just take Adderall? It'd be way better than caffeine. Well, then what happens? Then you start taking Adderall and caffeine, right? And then you're caffeinated all day long just to maintain baseline. That's just, I don't know. But I understand the enjoyment part of, I really like this thing. But I really like zebra cakes, and it's not good for me, I would argue that everybody says coffee's good for you. I don't think it is.
That's what we're getting here.
It's not.
It's good for your arteries and brain health.
It's nonsense.
Helps my ADHD.
Nonsense.
I don't know. I don't drink coffee either. I'm with you on that. As I take a sip of Pepsi.
It's nonsense. That's what everybody, that's the one acceptable form of weakness that everybody just accepts. Oh, it's cool. It's good. It's a good thing. I don't buy that. It's not good. There's nothing good about it.
I can't read that, Eric, but that's pretty funny. I don't need coffee to wake up from our buddy Brad. I need it to be able to talk to dumb people. That might help with that. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you stop taking it for a week, then you get back to normal, and you're
Maybe I'll try it.
Normal baseline.
I'll try it this week.
Yeah, this should be your 2024 goal.
To go without caffeine.
Ingest zero caffeine.
Zero caffeine.
I can't tell you that last time I had anything with caffeine in it.
It's probably that podcast we did where you were drinking Mountain Dew.
It's a couple years ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, no interest.
Did you get a new Rolex?
I don't think this one's new. This is the black dial. I only have 3 of them. Only 3. I want to have 30 of them. A Bitcoin that I got received from selling some stuff. Some guy paid me in Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
And somehow I ended up with some Bitcoin. It's like,
what's the current value of?
It's like 62. 62,000 per coin, so it's up substantially. Maybe I should sell. I'm thinking about selling it because I want the blackface blue dial, the Cookie Monster, white
sounds
gold.
like a good one.
Yeah.
How much is that one?
It's on the secondary. It's like the only watch they have that's worth less than like if you bought it retail. It's like 36 or something like that. 32. That's a lot of money.
Is it just the number of them that they make that gives them the value.
No, it's who frickin' knows. I mean, there's all kinds of factors. Rarity, yeah. That scarcity is one, but like that Cookie Monster, for whatever reason, it's just, I think it's the coolest watch they make, but it's just not desirable. Like a Rolex Daytona, like the Panda Daytona, the white face black dial, that sucker's just the stainless steel version. I mean, it's what, $12,000 retail? I mean, to get one, your secondary market, new, 35, something, and it was 50, 60 at peak.
Interesting.
Anyway, Michelle's here. I gotta go.
Yep. All right. So we got to plan on getting back to normal schedule here.
Everybody's
Podcast?
goal this week. Next week, come back and say you got off of caffeine.
No caffeine.
None. Tell me how
I'm
bad
gonna
it
take
sucked.
the 20 pounds sterling you're gonna give me. For
I'm gonna lose 10. I'm gonna lose 6 pounds. You guys should get off of caffeine.
6 pounds. All right.
I'm freaking starving.
See you
right
guys
now.
next week. Did you?